Welcome to From Days to Years. We're so excited for you to be here. As you can see, we're out of the studio and in a wonderful location here in Port Richey at the Hacienda Hotel, a newly renovated hotel that was began, I think, in 1927.
Yes, it's old. A lot of famous stars have stayed here too over the years.
If you've never stayed here before, we'll definitely have some links in the podcast and the blog on our social media accounts. You can come out and check out this fabulous hotel. And of course, it's pink and it's perfect for us. I'm here with my fabulous co-host, Heather.
Angela,
how
are you?
Good. And we have a very special guest today, and Heather's going to introduce our guest.
Today we're talking to Amy West, who is a creative freelancer for many entities like Home Shopping Network. And she's also an author and a creator of her own travel and lifestyle website and blog. And she have 2 Airbnbs,
Yep.
2 little girls, or
Yep,
not
2
maybe
girls.
little, but 2 girls.
Yep.
And so today we're going to talk to you about traveling, which is my favorite. I
Yeah.
came from the airline industry.
Okay.
And my husband still works in the airline industry,
Yep.
or airport industry, I will say now.
I love it.
Yeah, so yeah, we in fact met at Continental Airlines
I love that
in
story.
1999. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, my dad used to work for Delta. My
Okay.
husband and I connected at an airport. I mean, I like this backstory
I
you're
love
sharing.
that. I
It's
love
good.
that. Oh my gosh, that's so great.
And if you're not familiar with this series, this is a part of our Working Mom series. So for every Working Mom series that we do, we always interview a mom who has a business and a story about being a mom and trying to run that business and be successful in her season of life, so that you can do the same thing. So we're going to ask Amy, one of my friends, who's so cool, 11 questions, and then she's going to answer them, and we're just going to dig a little bit deeper into how she started her business, what motivated her, and all that good stuff.
And we are not going to switch this time because that messed us up last time.
All right, I'll start with number 1.
You do the odds, I'll do the evens, but that didn't work last time at all. Thought we'd switch it up, and it switched up on us.
It did. So tell us a little bit about your family, your children, married,
Yeah.
partnered, how are you?
So I've been married for, let's see, we'll celebrate 19 years in November. Yep. And I always tease people, I'm like, I was an infant. So, no, I was 21, he was 23. We got married really young. We're still madly in love, and we connected on travel, and travel's been a huge theme through our whole lives. And we're still like world travelers today. In fact, we named our girls after destinations.
Really?
So we have a Sienna and we have a London. And
I love that.
Sienna's spelled more like the color, but we always said, we'll take you to your city. So we'll take her to Sienna one day. We'll take London to London.
Wait, where's Sienna?
Sienna's in Italy. It's like in the Tuscan area
I think
of
I've
Italy.
actually been there.
Yeah.
Because
It's a
we spent a
beautiful
lot of time
city.
in Tuscany.
A lot of people know it because it was in like the Twilight series. It was like where the
Never seen it.
vampires.
When he goes back and
Yeah,
meets with
that was
the-
all filmed in Sienna.
I've never seen that series.
Oh well,
I know I'm a little behind.
yeah.
Read
So
the books.
we have, let's see, we have two dogs and a cat, and we name our cats after wine. So we have
that makes
Syrah. Yep.
Oh, I
We've
love
had a
that.
Riesling and a Pinot in the past, and then we have 2 dogs. One is August, and then we started naming our dogs after whiskey because my husband's a huge whiskey lover. So we have a Woodford. So that's our big happy family. And we actually just recently relocated to the Tampa area. We were in Jacksonville. I was in Jacksonville for 32 years. Prior to that, my family's from the Kentucky and Ohio area. And my husband's family's in Tennessee. So
Oh, wow.
Wow. And I love that. Again, so every question we ask the same set, but we always get different answers. And when I get a dog, I'm going to name the dog after whiskeys now because I like
Yes.
this idea. I do love
I
whiskey.
love that.
a Jameson, you could have like a, Macallan.
Yeah.
You could do all different
And you
kind
do
of like
need to get
Scotch
a dog
whiskey,
so that I have a
bourbon.
dog to come play with and then leave.
Yeah, you could just do Jack, like,
Jack Daniels.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot. It's fun.
There's a lot there.
It's also a way to get my husband to actually like dogs because he's not a dog fan. So I was like, hey, why don't you name this dog? Why don't you name it after whiskey? That would be really smart. I can't say it made him like the dog more, but he's a little bit more invested in the process. So.
Oh yeah, no, my husband, you talk to him about a dog, and he's like, "No, we're not even going to talk any further about this." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine."
That's why I just surprise him and bring him home.
Well, we have cats, but we travel a lot, and it's just
Yeah.
like, do you really want to find somebody to take care of this dog? And
that is a whole
not
thing.
easy.
that's a whole
It
thing.
is a
It's
whole
not
thing.
easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
When we used to have my fur babies, which we had fur babies before we had Izzy, and we found a kennel and we stuck with that kennel until our babies went home.
Yeah, that's
Like
the way
when
to
they
do
died.
it because
Died.
they're comfortable there. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
We used to house sit somebody's dog.
Couldn't do that because
Well,
it's
like,
something
that's
that's
like
like
for the
It's
day-
like
they
you
went
get to
out for the
enjoy having
day.
a dog, and then you get to give it back.
Well, and they didn't even come stay with us because it was just when they were gone for long stretches
Oh,
during the
yeah.
day. So we just go over. My daughter already cat sat for them,
Yes.
and they had a Great Dane. Oh, I loved that Great Dane. I still do. I mean, Athena's still with us, so Athena's my best friend. That's what we used to say because she didn't like many people, but me, I
Best
loved her. I'd go and watch TV with her. Can you take
Vibing.
her out to let her go to the bathroom? Sure. Hey, Athena, let's watch TV. There's nobody here, and I can have a TV to myself.
Great Danes are so smart.
They're so mellow. They can be very mellow. They can be rough, but they're mellow. Okay, so let's talk about work. What do you work for? You work for, well, you're more a freelancer.
So I love when people ask this question because it's really hard to pinpoint one thing that I do.
I like that.
I always tell people, well, what am I doing today?
Yeah.
Because it could be different day by day.
Right.
But let's just wrap it all up in a nice little bow and say that I'm a creator. So I have been creating for 20 years, and I've created everything from photos. We had a photography business for 10 years. I've modeled. I've been a commercial actress. I've cast stuff. I created a TV show. I produced. So I create things. I create content on the internet. I have a blog, and I sell. And so I create
Sell?
things and I sell.
Sell.
I
Sell,
sell
okay,
things.
great.
So I sell products. I sell, brands. And so I work on Home Shopping Network because I have specialized in personality work over the
Okay.
years. And so now I work
Wait,
with
what's
them.
personality work? What does that mean?
That's like different than being an actress,
Okay.
which I am that too. But it's someone who can be on camera and present.
Okay.
Basically walk and talk at the same time on camera.
Okay, yeah.
So just like a professional personality, like someone who gets up there, has the energy and the charisma to deliver a message to an audience, because that's kind of takes a bit of skill because a lot of
Right.
people get really nervous on camera or maybe they don't think as lightly on their feet. And so it's a skill that you develop over time and practice.
Because
just
like
to
on
be
the shopping network, you only have so much time
Yeah.
to
Yes.
sell that product, and then
Right.
they're moving off.
yes.
So yeah, so that is, that's all.
Yeah, and you have with
Exhausting.
live TV specifically, it's a special animal because that's your one chance. They're not going to retake, and you can't always follow a script, especially if you're working with a co-host because they may go a different direction than you were planning. So you have to know your product, but also have the gift of gab, like you ladies do, and be able to
We definitely got that covered.
We have that.
yeah, be able to pivot and adjust and get back on topic, and it's a whole thing. So that it all comes down to creating entertainment for an audience,
Right.
educating them, and then being able to sell a product.
Yeah, all at the same time. And like you said, wrapping up in a little bow, like
Yeah.
the perfect little bow.
Perfect little bow.
Yeah.
So, but if someone wants to get into that, personality, how do they do that? Personality modeling and what do you call it?
Yeah.
Personality modeling, personality.
That would
Opening.
just be basically they would, if you took classes, they would say it was like a hosting class,
Hosting.
learn how to be a
Hosting?
host.
There you go.
Yeah,
So go
so
host it.
you could Google hosting workshops.
Okay.
And a lot of times, if you get connected with an agency, if they don't think you're ready, they'll send you to these workshops. But there's all sorts of workshops all over the place. Obviously, they range in, how serious they are, or if it's a person that really knows what they're doing or not. But I've taken some of those classes throughout the years, but a lot of it was just kind of looking for opportunities to go on air. So my very first thing that I ever did on air was with PBS. And they used to do these live auctions with the local PBS stations.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and they would sell a package at a hotel, a
Okay.
3-night stay. And then I would go on and I would say, okay, this item number, blah, blah, blah. Not much different than HSN.
Yeah.
Only the difference was people would call in and they would bid. And then when the bidding was up, they would get that product. So I was a personality that would go on there and it was all donated for free. So I wasn't getting paid. I was just going on there to get airtime, to practice my craft.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I started.
Great.
And then I also started I worked with local media and I would do travel roundups. So when I started blogging, I wanted more marketing and exposure and authority in the industry.
Yeah.
So I would say to a local news agency, I'll do a story about 3 places to go on spring break.
Mhm.
And they love that because you're making their job easier by providing content
Right.
that's relevant to their audience. And I would go on there and I would do that for free. But, what you get is tag backs, go visit her website, go do this. And actually, I'll be on Friday in Jacksonville, and I have 2 airtimes there. So I still do that some.
Can you mention that website, or can you not?
In terms of their website.
Where you'll be, so
Yeah.
if somebody
So-
wanted to tune in?
Yeah, I'll be on River City Live is the TV show, and it's on Channel 4 in Jacksonville.
Okay.
And that's happening this Friday, so I don't know if you'll air before this Friday, but
No.
you can usually go to their website and Google me, or you can just go to my website, amywesttravel.com, and I do link back a lot of that content as well. And I'll do, like, if I'm doing I'm going to do 2 different ones. One is like places to go this spring and summer, and then one is things that'll make your life easier packing. And then I usually follow that up with a blog and like input the web link to the TV time that I had.
Cool. And that's a great idea. So, if you're looking for marketing ideas, if you're looking for ways to, marketing is ways to promote yourself. Sometimes you have to do some things for free, but make sure whatever you're doing for free, you're going to get in exchange something that's going to help you too. Because I always want to create that win-win situation, even though those don't really exist. But try and create it as best as you can so you can continue to get your name out there, your content, and promote yourself in exchange for promoting a bigger brand than you are.
Yeah. It's all part of the hustle. And I was telling my daughter this the other day is, the work that I did, and I've gotten paid for hosting work, and then I've done a lot of free stuff.
Yeah.
I did a lot more free stuff probably than I got paid for, but all of that added up to where I ended up having that opportunity because of the experience and the authority that I built. I was doing national airtimes with like Fox Business and Cheddar News. I would fly up on my own dollar to New York and just to get that airtime. But because I had that national presence, then when it came down to working with HSN, they had that confidence that they could put me on live broadcast to, millions of people, and I knew what I was doing. So it all kind of like a bit of a full circle thing where all that time that you invest, to me, that was my college education, right?
Yeah. No.
Because we always talk about different paths too.
Yeah.
So last time we had Michelle Renee, well, actually, once this airs, there'll be another working mom series in between this one, between Amy's and Michelle's. But there are different paths. So, just because you went to college doesn't mean that's the career you're going to end up with. And that may not be the career you wanted to pick when you started out with your college degree. So getting the experience, that is a degree because it's credibility. Usually a degree just says you can do something. And experience says that you can do something, in my opinion, even more than a degree.
Yeah.
Because people can trust that. I don't know. I
Because
don't
you
know if I
did
should
the
say
dang
that or not.
thing.
You actually did it.
Yeah.
A degree says I studied for it and I checked it off and I was able to pass a test.
Yep,
The
that's
experience
exactly
says
what
I
it
passed that test multiple times currently, today, not 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But I can still do it. I'm mumbling. I'm going to the second thing.
Sorry.
Or third thing. Sorry. In society, do you think women still bear the brunt of family responsibilities? Or are women expected to be the primary caregivers of children regardless, I cannot speak today, of children regardless while maintaining or progressing in their career?
I think we're further than we've ever been in terms of the pressure to be the primary caregivers. I think so many families are becoming, very diverse in their way of like splitting the roles up.
Yeah.
In our particular family, my husband is so capable. And that's what I've always been so happy that I could not have to worry at all leaving the kids with him. It was not a thing at all if I left for a weekend. I knew he absolutely was capable and was going to do everything he needed
House
to do.
wasn't going to burn down.
Yeah.
The dishes would be okay. There would be flour all
Yeah,
over.
it might not be the cleanest house when I got back, but he actually, put forth an effort to clean up when I got home and stuff. So he's just such a capable person that we do have more traditional roles, but if he sees I'm struggling, he doesn't care if he has to help out with the laundry. And if I have a big work week, he doesn't mind picking up, some of the things that I do with the kids. And so I think we are in a new modern era where people are thinking about things differently. I think a lot of it depends on heritage and culture and how you were raised.
Yeah, there's that.
And then how creatively you think.
Yeah.
So that would be my answer to that is I think we've made a lot of progress, but some people have progressed more than others.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. No, yeah, because I was going to say, I do worry when I go out of town and leave my kids behind. Did you feed them? Did they get food? Well, they had a bowl of cereal. It's food.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the roles
easier.
might be reversed with my husband because he cooks more than me.
Okay,
so
yeah.
when he leaves town, I have to be and I fed the kids. Because if they don't feel like eating, I'm like, well, I'm not going to force them to eat.
I
But
will
then
say,
you might
yeah.
get a meltdown or whatever. So I'm always proud of myself. I'm like, and I cooked.
I love it.
Yeah.
My husband does not cook.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my husband takes out.
My husband knows if he didn't cook, he wouldn't eat.
Yeah.
So he's a
My
griller.
husband, my husband, I always say, we could save a lot of money if we didn't eat out all weekend. And he's like, but that's what I want to do. And I always go, well, you know what? it is your income. I mean, I don't work, and so and
It's your income. You do work.
we do, but I also say at the end of the day, though, like, if that's how he chooses that we spend our money,
Yeah.
you know, then who am I to?
That's him living his best life,
That's him
right?
living his
Like,
best
it's
life.
all comes down to like how you
Yeah.
prioritize
Yeah.
what is living your best life.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, because we have friends who have total. They're like, you guys eat out a lot, and I said, well, that's what we enjoy doing as a
You're
couple.
foodies.
Yeah, we do. We really enjoy a good restaurant, but also we love to travel.
Yeah.
And that's where the rest of our money goes is
Yes.
for traveling.
Same.
I just
Give
realized,
them all
yeah.
our monies.
I know. Well, I just yesterday was looking at the calendar for next school year for Christmas break, and we just
Stand by.
sound bomb.
This is the one problem with shooting outside.
Yeah.
We get extra noise that drowns us out. So just bear with us.
Yeah. Yeah. I just realized that we were pulling them out of school, and we didn't realize we were pulling them out of school because Christmas break is a week later next year.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, my husband wants to go to Costa Rica for his 50th, and I said, well, we're taking the kids. And he's like, we do a lot of big trips without our kids.
Yeah.
Because we do it during the school year.
Yep.
We trade it in
We do the
with
same.
job trips. Oh, I have to go to Turkey in October. You should come. He spent a lot of time there. I'm having a little bit of anxiety about it because there's been a lot of earthquakes and that, you know, and I
Yeah.
go, who's
Civil
going to take
unrest.
care of my kids while I'm gone?
Right.
Yeah. But I also am dying to go to Turkey at the same time. I mean, who doesn't want to go? And
Just
he's
have
been
your
all
will in
over it.
order.
Yeah, I know. I would. I need to
That's
change
what
it.
we
Actually,
do.
that's what I'm in the process of doing because last time we did it, my son hadn't even been born, and now he'll be 13,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and things have changed.
Yeah, it's true. You have to keep those up to date.
Yeah,
It's
grandparents
morbid thought, but it
Yeah.
gives you a lot of relief when you
It
do
gives
travel.
you a lot of relief, but I feel like too we need to have conversations too.
Yeah.
I have conversations with my family all the time. He does not talk. Their families don't talk about that. Sometimes I don't think they do. I'm not part of it. So,
Interesting.
but yeah, I feel like you need to really make your wishes. Side note, because we are going to talk about this.
I was
in the
going to say that. I was
fall.
saying we're going to do a plug for the August or fall show.
Fall show.
Fall show.
We're going to talk about, you know, it's not the most exciting conversation, but
Yeah.
you should have your stuff, your little ducks in a row.
Yeah. We're going to have an expert in the fall, not sure
Yep.
which month. And she's going to come on and
Yeah.
talk about finances for women and life insurance
Sure.
and things that we don't want to talk
Talk
about.
about, but things that are important.
We need to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women
Difficult
don't.
conversations.
Like, I'm probably more unique than most. So I pay all the bills. I have a spreadsheet of
that's
where
me
everything
too, yeah.
goes.
My husband has no idea.
If there's big ticket items, I'm the one that says, can you find something cheaper?
Yeah, I don't even do. I should do that, but I'm just like, that's why I go. It's your money.
I'm like,
There's a lot of it's your
"It's
money.
cheaper." But anyway, we digress.
Yeah, we digress, but yeah, but like those are things that are important to have because like we do a lot of trips just the two of us.
Yeah, you do.
And we leave them with grandparents, and that's one of those things too where you're just like, well, they're gonna keep them alive.
Yeah.
That's
That's all I ask.
I don't know if they're gonna make it to school on time. I don't know if they're gonna be dressed appropriate for the weather that day, but they're still breathing, and they didn't make any ER trips while I was gone.
One of the benefits of the kids getting older too is they're
so
like,
much
listen,
easier.
like you have some sense. Just ask Alexa what the weather is today, and she'll tell you,
Yes.
and then
I
you'll know
know.
how to dress. Like they're,
Yeah. No,
they're
no.
maturing. I love it.
It depends on which family member's taking care of my kids. That's where they're at. Okay, so how do you balance your work life with your family?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
That's a
that's
really
a
good
big,
question.
that's a hard one. Because you have a lot of hats that you wear outside of the home too.
Yeah, it can be challenging, but I think what I try to do is make sure that time while they're in school is my productive time, and I try to dedicate the time that they're home to them.
Yeah.
Although now they have such social lives, they're very busy. So if I need to extend my work day, I can.
Yeah.
My work is different because with Home Shopping Network, I could get called in at any hour of the day.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Any hour of the day.
Wow.
Like I'll do a Today Special and I start at midnight. And I'll do 2
Oh.
hours at midnight, and then I have a break, and then I'm back on at 7, and I could go all the way till the following midnight, like on and off throughout the day. So there are days where I'm just not
Yeah.
available to them, and then my husband, steps in
He has
and
to.
he's there,
Yeah.
as he needs to. But we try to make sure that we have enough time. Like my husband and I invest heavily in dates and in our relationship. And then also that we invest into family time, whether it's a bike ride or a dinner out, or we bought season passes to Busch Gardens. So we have those times to make
Yeah.
those memories with them.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that it's really about the snapshots
Yes.
because there's a lot of day in and day out that they may not remember all those little details down the road, but like, what are the great snapshots that
Those are
you're
our
creating
favorite
for them?
moments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's what they remember. Like, they still remember this trip to California. I wanted to see if you could do wine country
With the kids.
as a
Oh, yeah,
family
you
trip.
totally can.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
And they
totally.
still remember it today as like one of their
Yeah.
most favorite trips
Yeah.
because we went to like a trout farm and we
Yes.
went to the Pacific Coast and we went to a redwood forest
Oh,
and
yeah,
then they
yeah.
were on the vineyards with us, talking with the winemakers,
They love
learning
that.
about the science behind making
Yep.
wine, and then
That's a
just
great
running around in the fields. They loved it. It was
Yeah.
super fun.
And just a plug for this, because I came from Washington and we would go out to the Yakima area.
Yeah.
And Walla Walla.
Love their
They're
wine.
so kid friendly
Mhm.
too. Like a lot of places where, here,
Yeah.
they had a playground for the kids to play on. They had board games for,
Really?
yes,
Yeah.
they're very kid
It's
friendly.
way more kid friendly than you would expect. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's a farm. Like, they had
It is a
family
farm,
too.
but they want to do
You forget
tours.
that part when you're drinking
Yeah.
the wine.
Yeah.
We did
Yeah.
Easter egg hunt there.
Yeah.
We were there for Easter
They
one
do all
year. They
kinds
did
of
Easter
fun
egg hunt. They'll
things.
do pumpkin
So just a
patches
plug.
inside
Just,
the
if you have
vineyards.
little
Yeah.
kids, I mean, I don't know about with infants, that might be harder, but if you've got kids who are walking,
Yeah.
they will be entertained for hours on end, and they will be
super fun.
tired at the end of the
And
day.
sometimes we went to Coppola. They had like a kids tasting, and it was just a juice box and some
Oh,
cheese.
My son
It
did,
was really
my son
cute.
did a milk tasting and all the different flavors of milk, and he still talks about that.
It's six
Yeah.
of them. Yeah,
I love
it's
that.
pretty
I
cool.
love
So who knew? But like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, no,
It's a whole thing. Wine country, family
My
vacation.
daughter hates the smell of wine. She's a very, very attuned nose. She can smell things.
Yeah.
So
Maybe she'll be a sommelier one
Yeah,
day.
she hates alcohol. So
Well, maybe that's good.
maybe not. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
thing. But I mean, like, she can just smell things. She'll go, "What is that? Oh my God, somebody's drinking wine." And I'm like, "Oh my God.
Wow.
Do you see the wine fridge?"
She would make a great sommelier.
I know
for
she
houses,
would.
but, like,
She's a little bossy
What do you
in a
think?
good way.
That's good.
What do you think about extended family support? Do y'all have extended family support, or are you saying, we got this?
I
We're
think
good.
extended family support is amazing. I wish we had more of it. His family has lived in Tennessee the whole time we've been married, but they come down as often as they can.
Yeah.
My mom has lived around us up until we moved to Tampa, but I call my mom a grandma, lovingly. She's a very busy
Grandma, I love this. I've
Grandma.
never heard this one before.
because she has like a Harley and she's
Oh,
always like riding with
fun.
her chapter, and she's a realtor, so she's always showing houses and stuff. She absolutely is supportive, loves her grandkids, but like she's not the
She's a
grandma you
busy-
call to watch them for a week.
Right,
Like
no,
she's
no.
too busy.
Yeah.
So we have had to just pay for childcare over
Yeah.
the years,
Yeah.
which has been a heavy investment,
That is
but
a
it's
heavy-
just kind of become something that we've accepted, because early on I would be like, "Mom, can you come and watch them while we have a date?" And she's like, "I'm not your free babysitting." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's what we're doing. Okay, I'm going to pay for a babysitter,
Yeah.
I guess." So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you have that extended family, that's amazing. Unfortunately, my husband has 4 siblings, but they're all dispersed across the U.S.
Yeah.
And so we just haven't had that
Yeah.
privilege of having family around. I really wish that we had. But we've made it work for what it is. And now that they're getting old enough to like
So
be
much,
home
yeah.
alone and do a
Yeah.
little bit more by themselves, I feel like we're entering a new era of freedom, which
It's
is really
a
nice.
Great era.
Yeah.
She's there.
I can tell
I
you,
am not.
14 and 12. I
Yeah.
remember the first time my
You'll get there
daughter
soon.
said,
Yeah.
"You pay a babysitter to come watch us," and all she does is nothing. She does her
Sits on her
homework. And I
phone,
said,
yeah.
"She's here to dial 911."
Yeah.
And I don't even want her to dial 911. Her parents were nurses. I want her to call mom before she calls 911.
Right, exactly.
You know?
It's just about that a third
Yeah.
set of eyes
It
to
is.
like, you know.
And my kids, and then we started, we were in London or in England, and they didn't want to go to another pub. They were done. So we said, "Okay, you have a cell phone.
Yep.
You'll call us." And we just, and I feel
Amazing.
like if you can leave them alone in a flat in another country,
Yeah.
and you come back and they haven't talked to each other all night, you're
As
doing
long
fine.
as they're not fighting each other
Yeah.
tooth and nails, we're
they
good.
don't, they just go to opposite rooms. That's what they always tell us. We don't even sit near each other.
Yeah.
And the
We
police
do our
weren't there
own
when you
thing.
got there. There's no ambulance. You're good.
No, yeah. And so
We don't
it's
let
a
them
whole-
use the stove while we're gone. We're
Oh, God,
like,
no.
microwave only.
Yeah, it gets better too because my daughter's a baker. She doesn't bake, but she might go, "Oh, I made mac and cheese for us."
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah,
She can cook.
That
or
works.
she can
I love
make.
it.
She likes to bake, not cook. Bake.
But yeah, if you have extended family, man,
It's-
take advantage of
I
it.
know, please
We
do,
don't.
because I didn't
Yeah,
have
we're
it
just-
either.
It's tough. And it takes a village, and we've
It does.
lost that village in a lot of ways. But I'm always trying to cultivate a village. Like I had to call a neighbor the other day because the kids were staying home alone, and Sienna calls because the timer on the oven was going off and she couldn't get it to go off, and she was like losing her mind because it was creating so much anxiety in her that she couldn't make the beeping stop.
Yeah.
So I called the neighbor up and I was like, "Hey, can you just do me a solid? Walk over, help her turn the timer off because she's like falling apart."
Yep.
And that meant the world to me. And she's like, "Yeah, anytime, it's fine." Like to have a community, and that's one of the reasons that I love living in the community that we do. It's like people of the same age, because we have lost the village, and I miss it. You know, we
That
have
village
between my
is
husband and I, we have 6 siblings, and none of them are around to help. And that's just the kids need that. They need
do.
other adults that they can trust.
Yes.
Other
Yes.
people in their lives that aren't their parents, because you know they don't listen to us anyways.
No, I do. I will say too, as a note, is that my kids, as soon as we move somewhere, I'm immediately like, "Hey, can I give my kids your phone number? If I'm not home, they can call you."
Yeah.
And I tell them all the time, you just walk next door. You walk
Yes.
down the street.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Just leave the house. It's on. And I'm the over-prepped mom. When I took my kids to the movies by myself, I would say, "What happens if the fire alarm goes off?"
Oh yeah, you have to do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You find a nice older woman with a bunch of kids, or you find somebody in a uniform that works at the movie theater.
Yeah.
I will find you, but you don't wait for me. I always
Yeah.
go, it's like on an airplane.
Yeah.
You put your
That's
mask
good.
on first,
Yeah.
and then I would do yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always
that's
go back
good.
to the
Yeah.
mask.
I agree.
Yeah. That's so
Is it
smart.
my turn?
Yes.
Sorry, I keep rolling mine up
You're
because
okay.
it was flying away.
It's a bit breezy out here.
Okay, do you
But it
create
feels nice.
boundaries
Boundaries.
between work and home?
No.
It might be hard. I was going to say, it might be
It
hard.
might be blended.
It's kind of, yeah,
Because
for
you've
me.
got a lot going on.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I say that flippantly. There are certainly probably some boundaries, but it's probably more gray area than black and white. My boundaries would be more because my personal life does somewhat blend into my public life. It's really about what the kids are comfortable with. So if they're saying like, "Mom, don't post that," with them in it, I'm not going to post it.
Yeah.
If they say take that down, I'm going to take it down
Yep.
immediately. I never wanted to be a stage mom, so I don't push them into the same field that I do. But if they want to come along, I want to cultivate that.
Yeah.
So those are probably more the boundaries that I have when it comes to family life and work,
Yeah.
because so much of what I do, I have to be authentic and I have to be like real about my real life.
Right,
I
and
can't
it's
completely
happening
put all that
day
in the
long
dark.
too. With
All
when
day.
you could be called. So
Yeah,
there's
I mean-
no, like I turn my phone off at 9:00 at night, and
And even when it comes to creating, it's like I don't have a 9 to 5. Like when the kids go to bed, my husband and I are probably on our phones while we're watching TV, and I'm like doing something on social, building
Yeah.
content or returning emails. And it doesn't stress me out to be like that, because I also don't hesitate to take a nap in the middle of the day, because
Yeah.
I know I'm probably going to be working on Saturday or Sunday.
Right.
And if I need to take a whole day off, I will. So there's a lot of freedom in that, but I'm also very driven and disciplined.
Right.
So I don't really worry that I'm not going to accomplish something,
Right.
because that discipline does exist.
That's
Yeah.
good though. So you know yourself and you know your family, which is, if you're going to create boundaries, you have to know what works best for your family. You just can't go out and willy-nilly just put out guidelines and rules hoping they
No.
work because you heard them on a TV show or a podcast.
Right.
You have to really make sure you know your family
Yes.
and yourself and what's going to best work, so those boundaries can really be firm when you need them.
Yeah.
So
So
just
just very individual.
Yeah, I love this instant, inspiration we get from Facebook and all these social media channels. But make sure you go back to really knowing your family and understanding who
Yes.
you are
Yeah.
and who they are, so those boundaries can be firm and they're real. Otherwise, all you're doing is chasing things.
right.
And we're not here to chase things. We're here to make sure we can get things that work for us in the season that we're in.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, definitely.
If a young mom transitioning from stay-at-home mom or mid-career, or mom wanting to go into your field, what advice would you give them? The travel industry.
Like they're wanting to get into travel.
Well, actually, you have to travel or being a spokesperson for a major brand
Yeah.
or creating a clothing line. So you've done that too.
Yeah, dream big. Like dream big, set big goals, but remember it's not all accomplished in a day. And for me, I always use the illustration that you can't like eat a watermelon in one bite, right? Like you have to cut it up
Right.
into small bites. And so sometimes you get discouraged because you're like, oh, it seems so far away. But if you just really study the course and just actually do the thing or a little bit to go towards the thing every day, you will eventually achieve. You will get there. And when it comes to the travel stuff, when I first got started with what I was doing, I reached out to a friend who was a travel writer and I said, what advice would you give? And she said, it's highly competitive. You probably won't make it. And I was like, wow, ow.
That's painful.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't think she was trying to be mean because she edited some of my stuff and she was helpful. But I think she was just trying to set my expectations.
Yeah.
But what was interesting, I always try to take my challenges and use them as a excuse to be creative with my thought process. So what she saw as a challenge, there's lots of competition. I saw as, well, then how can I get around that? How can I be creative? And so instead of going the way that everybody else did it,
Yes.
which was to submit to magazines and to be a freelancer, I started doing my own thing. Like I had the TV show and then I did the blog. And then I had to figure out with the blog, well, how do I monetize this? How do I make it make money? And so I found creative ways to do that.
Yeah.
What was also happening was timing. At the same time, this was all around 2012, bloggers were becoming more popular.
Yeah.
A few years later, social media influencers became popular. And so I was able to ride that wave and came at travel from a whole different angle as an early adapter than a lot of travel writers who were out there who were just sticking to the written word and the typical way of getting in.
Which was slowly dying too.
Yes.
Because
So I would say
Yeah.
be an early adapter. Look for things that are new. Like TikTok's not new anymore, but a few years ago I was telling people like get into TikTok. Maybe it's YouTube Shorts. Maybe it's podcasting. Like find something that is very new that people are like, what's going on? Like all this AI stuff, Chat GPT. Like get yourself on the edge. Learn something new. Be an early adapter because then all the other people who are stuck in their ways will get left behind and you will be on the edge of something new.
Right.
But it really is about getting out of your comfort zone, saying yes. That's one thing that I love about travel and becoming a writer about travel. I always I'm like, well, I'll say yes because I'm looking for a story. So things that I would have normally said, oh, no way, not in a million years. I was all of a sudden like, well, they'll give me something to write about.
yeah.
And so find a reason to say yes.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the thing that's going to work out. Also, be focused on the long game. Like I'm a huge relationship builder and not all the time will that get me anything up front. And I just like people to like people,
Right.
whether it gets me anything or not. But I always know like there's probably going to be some way that we can work together in the
Right.
future.
Yeah.
So I'm very focused on long game. I'm
Just
like,
how we
it's
met.
timing. Yeah, it's timing. It's like, maybe it works out now. Maybe it works out later. Maybe there'll be a lot of, growth between us. Like, I don't know, but it's,
Right.
it really matters.
So making sure, so things that Amy mentioned were being adaptable, being on the edge of new technology, be focused on the long game, build your relationships. Again, back to when 2 podcasts ago or 2 moms ago, by the time this airs, Michelle talked about, not getting that quick dollar, but focused on the end. What's your end? Keeping the end in mind.
Yes. Okay. So when you have moments or a moment of
Yeah.
self-doubt,
Yeah.
what keeps you going? What inspires you to not
Wine.
whine?
That's
with you on
a
that.
joke.
Yes,
That's a joke.
right. That's-
I do get moments of self-doubt, like a lot. Like I struggle with anxiety. I've struggled with depression over the years. I have my therapies and treatments for that have helped me. And my focus is always like, I feel my best self when I'm like driven and motivated and have a goal that I'm looking to achieve. But yeah, we all have down times. So I think it's really important in those moments to, especially women, we're very hard on ourselves.
Right.
Allow
Yes.
ourselves a break. Remember, your best ideas are yet to come.
Yeah.
And don't be discouraged. Allow yourself the time to get through whatever that discouragement is. And for me, what's really exciting with what I do is randomly, I'll have a really down day. I'll be in the valley, and then I'll get a call or an email the next day, and someone will be like, hey,
You're right.
let's talk about this.
Yeah.
And my openness to stay open
Yes.
allows me to see an opportunity or possibility where it exists, and then I can jump on that, and that usually snaps me right out of
Right.
it. And so I do often face those things, but over the years, I think physical activity has helped me. I think just like getting out into the sunshine, taking
She's
a walk,
definitely in the sun now because the shade has shifted.
Yeah.
And I'm like slowly
getting all the vitamin
Sorry,
D.
actually, we're gonna melt.
Yeah, getting all the vitamin D. Those things are so important, and something that we've lost as a society, I think, is just the importance of just getting outside. And even when it's freaking hot in Florida,
Yeah.
it's still beneficial to your psyche,
Yeah.
and we need that. And those things help me a lot.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. So y'all, if you don't have a therapist, get one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
no
at least
shame.
some good girlfriends to drink wine with.
Oh, well, that's
just not
what,
research.
that's how we started this.
That's the best friends. Yeah.
That's what I said. Like, if you haven't heard the story, and I tell everybody. Heather and
I
I
needed a wine night and not just W-I-N-E, I needed a W-H-I-N-E night. And I said, can we, and we didn't know each other that well.
No, we didn't.
No. But I said, you're the only
love
person
it.
who I really know who will understand where I'm coming from. And she's like, and I went off and she goes, no, you're not the only one. And hey, we're going to do a podcast. And I like laughed.
Well, we didn't talk. Well, so
No, you just said I have a plan.
I have a plan.
I have a plan.
So we were talking about communication at our school, which we don't want to name the school because we don't want y'all to know exactly where we live. Maybe a little bit, but not too much.
Yeah.
That's a little too personal.
I just think the newsletter could be a little bit easier to read.
So we were talking about that, and like the next day or that day, I was thinking, my God, she'd be a great co-host, a fabulous
I can
co-host.
talk to anyone.
But
Gift of
But it's not just that she talks to anyone. She presents herself a certain way, and
No.
she's interested, and she has a lot of wisdom and a lot of authority, and she's
I have a
traveled.
lot of experience.
She has a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And she looks good on camera too, girls. Let's give her that too.
Because
That's
that's why I don't watch her. Never watched our podcast.
I keep
That's
telling her
okay.
to watch the
I sometimes
podcast.
watch the TikTok and then I'm like, oh,
Actually, I know a lot of professional TV people that just don't watch it back. Actually,
just
so
can't.
short story. I worked with Casey DeSantis
Oh, very
in
good.
Jacksonville, and she used to say, she's like, I never watch myself back ever.
no,
Don't ever
I just
do it.
can't.
Why?
I think just because you get in your head and you kind of
I
like
know that's
start
what I
pulling
would
yourself
do. I
apart.
know it's what I would do.
I do that normally though, so it's okay.
That's why I don't even
Some
plan.
people
Like
can.
sometimes I'm like, maybe I should like read the bio before we talk to this person. But then I'm also a big believer in I can overanalyze everything to
Yeah,
the point where I
that's true.
can't do it.
Yeah.
And I told my daughter finally figured this out because she'd want to prep and study and memorize.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you just need to understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You
I
don't need to
agree.
memorize. You just need to be able to explain it to people.
Yeah.
And now she's really good at like standing in front of a classroom and talking.
That helps me a lot too.
Yeah.
Like understanding what it is, but then just
Because
have
then
fun.
you're able to pivot too when something starts to go the wrong way or somebody throws a question out that
and you're not like, wait, I didn't get all my words
wait,
out.
wait, I didn't look that one up, but like you know it, so you can pivot or you can even say honestly, you know what, I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
Which
Or
is
just
a good
make
one.
it up.
Yeah, you can also do that.
Which
It's
leads
so
us
easy to make it.
Yeah.
which leads us to our next question, which is, are you led by guilt or grace? And do you give yourself and your family time to make mistakes? So one of our sayings in the show, besides I know exactly what I'm doing, and I shake my head when I say
Yeah.
that because we like a little free flow in this. I plan, but free flow is making sure our
wonderful.
moms are going from guilt to grace and from fear to faith. So
Yeah.
how do you deal with the grace and guilt thing?
Yeah, I think mom guilt is something that exists for everyone,
Yes.
but I think I'm definitely led by grace. I think looking back at my parents' lives, they tried to be better parents than their parents were, and we all try to be better parents
Right.
than the ones before, and we build upon the shoulders of the generation before.
Yeah.
I think I could see where my parents could have had a lot of opportunity for guilt.
Yeah.
And for me, I love my parents
Right.
as they are. Like I've never been mad that they weren't more or different. And I'm so
Right.
grateful for who they are
Yeah.
as the people that they are. And I've learned so much from them, and they were far from perfect. So I had this thing early on after I had my first daughter. I call it my mom life crisis,
Oh.
where I was trying to be Betty Crocker or like the perfect mom, the Pinterest
Yeah.
mom,
That
the,
mom
you
that
know.
yeah, the Pinterest mom.
Yeah, I
yes.
even was like, I need to wear cardigans now, and I don't know. I
Well,
changed my whole style, you know, and I just didn't feel myself. There was this savage part of me, a sensual part of me, a different part of me that felt like shut off. And I had this kind of rebellion with my own nature at a certain point, the crisis, right? Identity crisis of like, you know what? My kids will benefit from exactly who I am. And
Right.
sometimes it's kind of a savage. And that's okay. They need to learn that too. Like women are so diverse.
Yep.
We have so many layers, and whatever it is that I have to give, they need that. So I had to have grace for myself that I wasn't going to be a great cook. I wasn't going to be Pinterest mom. I wasn't going to be those things. What I am is a strong force of nature with a personality that can teach them how to build things
Yeah.
and grow and be an entrepreneur or sell things, that they're never going to be limited by, you know, their surroundings, because they can learn a way around them. They can grow, they can expand as far as they want. And they are far more capable than they even realize.
Yes. No.
Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember somebody once saying, you get the child it was something to basically like, you don't get a child that's any more or any less than what you need in your life.
That's good.
Yeah, and I remember, because I remember trying to be that same way. I wanted to be a better parent than my parents because they were bad parents. And I wanted to give my child this perfect childhood that I thought I didn't have.
Right.
And
It's idyllic life.
oh yeah, idyllic with no. I mean, I do say sometimes I'm more of the lawnmower mom, where I'm trying to make everything smooth out all the issues before they get to them. But I've also learned that I have to let them.
Yeah.
I always give
gotta
my
let 'em
kids
fail.
I always give
Fail
my kids
forward,
one
I
pass
say.
at the beginning of every school year.
Yeah.
Where, oh, you forgot this, or I will bring it to you one time, because everybody forgets.
Yeah.
But you have to do better the rest of the year.
I like that. Yeah.
But yeah,
it's
so
a mixture
hard.
of
Yeah.
grace and tough love, and I think we are always questioning ourselves. Am I doing too much or too little?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, exactly.
hard.
I
It's
totally
hard.
get that. Okay, so what is your WOSA moment? And WOSA is a reminder to relax. Do they just happen? Do you plan them?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
Sometimes I get into the depths of despair, and my husband's like, "We're gonna go see a movie,"
Yeah.
and so he'll help force it on me. Sometimes I'm like, I'm pre-scheduling out a massage and
Yeah.
facial
Yeah.
for a week from now,
That's a
and
great idea.
because I'm okay with I need that
Yeah.
time.
Sometimes you do. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and so
suggest
it is, and it's nice to have regularly scheduled things.
Yes.
My husband and I, we don't have a regularly scheduled date, but we take them often.
Yeah.
And it is obviously great to have a friend that my best friend and I, we have this thing called man down moment. So if you're having just like one of those times where you're like, I have to get through to my best friend, it's not just like, oh, hey, let's connect when you get a minute. It's like, I'm having a man down moment. Can you be there for me right now?
I love that.
And having some kind of signal or a sign to whatever your support system is, your mother, your friend, your husband, just like, this is a man down moment. This is not like the other ones. This
Right.
is I'm on the brink. So this is me reaching out for a hand to help.
Yeah.
And it's hard for a lot of us to do that
It's
because
very
we don't want to bother people or,
Yeah.
but
You know,
or it's a source of pride. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm not afraid at all to like communicate with people like, I'm not doing well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hopefully, they see
I
that.
feel like as a society too, it's kind of like buried deep inside of us. It's not inconvenience other people
Yeah.
with what we need, but really when we don't get that need fixed, we are then inconveniencing a whole group of people at the very end.
The ripple effects are
Yeah.
far and wide.
Yeah.
My mom always said you should prepare so you don't have to repair.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
Wait, say that again.
Prepare so you don't have to repair.
I love that.
So
I
that
like
means
that.
like subscribing to your normal, like your local massage place, so that you always get that massage you can count on.
Yeah.
Or getting your having a workout buddy that you always walk
Yeah.
with or whatever. Like, what are those things that you can prepare with so you don't have to repair?
That's so my prepare, so I don't have to repair, is E. So she's my accountability partner to go and exercise. And I was
Yeah.
telling her that the other day. I'm like, thank you so much for being my accountability partner, because I would say I'm going to exercise, and
Yeah.
so this is the chubbiest or the out of shapest I've ever been in my whole life. I've always been thin my whole life until I developed rheumatoid arthritis, and that's when I started ballooning up. And now, ever since then, it's just been.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. After I had Izzy, I got down to bobblehead size. We talked about this before
Yeah.
when we met.
Yeah.
Bobblehead size, for those of us who don't know what that is, it's when your head is big and your body is so emaciated you can see your bones.
Yeah.
Okay? That's bobblehead. That's not good. That's not thin. That's unhealthy, unnatural, and disgusting, y'all. Let's stop doing that, okay? But now I'm in a size that I don't want to necessarily be in, and E's my accountability partner for that. And I had one of those moments that you talked about when you needed to talk to someone then. And it was like 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, and we've been building this house for 17 months. We're
this house.
next month, thank God. Sorry, I'm not preaching that you have to have Jesus or God. That's what I say, okay? So I don't want any letters or phone calls or whatever, okay? Do what you do. So next month, we'll finally close on this house. There's a bee on our fruit. He likes it. That's a honeybee.
Honeybee.
And we've been in this 1,200 square foot apartment for 17 months, and my husband works from home.
Oh my
And
goodness.
our daughter was home for spring break, and so we have to keep planning these things. And I was having a moment when I needed to talk to someone at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And my grandma will be 90, and she's in Vegas. So So she's a couple hours behind. I'm like,
able to call, yeah.
I was able to call her, but even then
Yeah.
it was midnight. I'm thinking, I can't call my grandma. But I remember her saying, and you need someone in your life that says this, I don't care what time it is, pick up the phone.
Yes.
Pick up the phone. And so I called my grandma. It was 3:00 in the morning. And she's like, what's wrong? She's like, I just happened to not go to sleep. I wanted some peanut butter.
Oh, she knew.
She knew.
She knew.
Something in her spirit said, I need to be awake right now. And I was able to talk to my grandma. And I was able to get what was on my mind off my mind
Yeah.
Yeah.
and just connect with someone who I knew loved me,
Yeah. Who sees you?
sees me. She sees me.
Yeah.
And it's unconditional. No matter what I said to her, she could see what I was going through and just help me in that moment. And I was fine after that. So you definitely need that person.
Yeah, you do.
Yep,
You do.
you
So
do.
for some people, it will be a therapist, you know?
Yeah.
You have to outsource sometimes, just like the child care. But if you have a support system that's around, like, build yourself a support web.
Yeah. I would like to get a therapist so I can say things that I don't want to say to my husband.
I know sometimes, yeah.
Right on Grandma Works.
There are, yeah. No, because we lost our, yeah, I mean, we moved to Florida to be
Yeah.
closer to family, but they're still 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
But man, I had this group of moms,
Yeah.
and that was our,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we still text. Like, I mean, we text all day long, but I mean, texting is not the same thing as
No, it's not.
in person in your, you know, we used to do wine nights in our pajamas.
Oh,
Like, you put
yeah.
pajamas on and you brought your house shoes and you
Yeah.
would just sit there. And sometimes it was 2:00 in the morning before we were leaving.
Oh,
our
that's
friend's house.
so great. I love it.
5 hours, you know. Kids would wander down every once in a while, like her kids, but that was it. Yeah. But I totally, you know, miss that.
I do too. We used to have them in Georgia.
We need to have that because we're all in the neighborhood. Oh, your poor house.
But-
Your
but-
house.
April will
I
be
think
closing.
about that house all the time.
We'll be crashing at your house for wine night.
Come
I
on
know, 'cause
over,
you
y'all.
have that separate room that we don't have to see husbands.
We're already planning the first, and that's another plug for our show. So we're talking to a personal chef, and we're going to talk about that actually at our planning meeting after this.
Ooh, nice.
So we're going to talk about what we can do and how we can involve some moms in that particular episode. But we're going to have a planning meeting after this episode tapes, and the 5 of us are going to sit down and talk about how to do that. But we have some ideas.
I love
We're gonna be
it.
in our
Yeah, our new studio.
studio,
Studio.
a permanent, but we won't have to set up and break down after every podcast.
Last question.
All right.
All right. If you had to sum up being a mom that works outside of your home with your schedule and everything that you're involved in, how amazing you are, what would that one word or phrase be? Hard. Say that again for those of us who went to put
Hard.
the coffee cup
It's
down and missed
hard.
what you said.
You know, we were recently for my birthday. We went to Vegas and we met up with some friends, and they were so fun. But they're younger. They're in the like thinking about building a family.
Oh.
And she looked at me, and my friend says, "What is it like having kids? Is it so fun? Is it so fun?" And I was like, I wouldn't describe it as that.
How many hours do you have to sit and talk about this?
We were having cocktails. I was like, this is fun. Cocktails in Vegas. That is fun. Child rearing,
No.
not fun,
No.
but fulfilling in a way
Yeah.
that is
It
nothing
becomes-
else can really
it does
truly
become
compare.
Fun because I think about my seasons a lot.
We talk about seasons a lot.
I never thought about it that way, but you know, when my kids were younger, toddler age, that was hard.
Yeah.
And I was thankful that I was a stay-at-home mom because my
Yeah.
husband traveled a lot.
Yeah.
He was never, you know, not to say he was never home, but he traveled a lot and he had a very
Tough.
demanding job that didn't let him work from home.
Yeah.
So I was thankful that I got to be home with him. So on those days where I was just like, yeah, we're not getting out of this house. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is what today's going
Or
to
like maybe you're just going to take the stroller to Target and walk around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
and
Maybe
Oh,
I
we
should
did that.
change.
We did that a lot. Like that
Yeah.
was like, well, we
How
had a
many moms out there? Like, give
Yeah.
us a thumbs
Sometimes
up, right?
it
It's
was
like Target and a stroller. Yes.
Sometimes it was a Costco because I could put them both in the cart
Yeah.
and they had the free samples. And honestly, I could buy a churro, break it in half. And then they were just as happy
Happy-
as could be.
I
And I
mean,
maybe bought
yeah.
one thing, but I mean, you know, Costco's a big store. And I'd let
Yes.
them look at every single thing. We'd go up and down
Yeah.
every aisle. And I entertained
And you
them.
just stimulated them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
someone told me small kids, small problems, big kids, big problems.
Yep.
I'd say that's accurate, but also my husband and I were walking this morning and talking about like, I love little kids. They're so precious.
Oh, they're
I love
so
to
cute.
squish them. I love to give them back. Like, there's a lot
Yes.
of things about them being small
Yeah.
that I don't miss. And it's mainly just that it was high maintenance. There was never a chance
Yeah.
to like sit down and accomplish something for yourself
No.
or have, because
They
I'm the kind of
needed an
person that
eye
needs
on
to
them.
fulfill my own personal
Yeah.
goals to feel like fulfilled. And so just constantly
Yeah.
having to push my own stuff aside. Now I'm entering a season where I'm able to do so much more for my
Yeah.
career.
Yeah.
But I'm incredibly grateful that I even had the privilege to be home with my kids, that I
Right.
still can be home with my kids
Yeah.
and accomplish my career, because a lot of people just don't have that.
Yeah.
So maybe I should change my answer from hard to grateful. And they can be both, right? Like it
Yeah,
can
they
be
can
hard and you
absolutely.
can be grateful.
Every day is different,
because it's a
too.
beautiful journey, and
Yeah.
I don't ever regret the choice to have children, because I did choose, and I'm so happy that I did. It's a beautiful journey, and I can't wait to see what kind of like amazing human beings, and I mean they already
That's
are amazing
right.
human beings, but like what kind of amazing
Who are
adults
they
they
going to be?
become.
Yeah.
And so I'm very grateful to participate in that. I'm also really grateful when you see aspects of yourself like reproduced. You're
Yeah.
like, wow, like when I go one day, they'll still be a part of me that's
Right.
very much alive. And like that's such a beautiful thing to be like, wow, like she's so much like me. That's a source of pride and like makes me very happy. So
I love that.
hard, grateful, happy.
Yeah.
Hard, grateful,
We
happy.
were built for hard things.
We were. Mom,
We really were.
we birthed those kids out of things down there that I'm not
However
going to
you
mention,
did it, yep.
which was hard. I was grateful it was done. And what was the other one? Hard, grateful, and
Happy.
happy. I was happy when I saw her. So for our children out there, it's not that we don't love you. We love you. We
We
gave
love
our
you.
bodies for you. But there's no playbook, okay?
Yeah.
So like our kids are watching, there's no playbook, which makes it harder. You know, when Izzy was little, you know, she didn't talk until she was 2.5, 3 years old. You know, she didn't walk till she was 14 months old. I'm like, something's not right. Something's not right. And so we went through all this stuff with her at that time, sensory processing disorder, which became autism now. And it wasn't easy. There was no playbook for that.
Right.
So it was hard.
Yeah.
There were days I
Yeah.
would cry because we were in therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy,
Yeah.
the other therapy we did, you know.
Yeah, and there was
It was
nobody who paved that path for you.
I
That,
know.
like, this is what to do in this situation. We
Yeah.
had a
Right.
similar situation, and it's like there's nobody like giving you a playbook. Yeah, it's just like, here you go.
Yes.
You get this for the rest of your life. Figure it out.
Yeah.
It's like so much more serious than marriage, because you don't even get to pick them. They pick you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's forever.
It is forever.
Forever.
It's
Yeah.
forever. I want to thank you, Amy, so much for coming.
you.
you're welcome. This
She
was
was-
fun.
Sorry about the sun. Maybe we should have shifted earlier. I don't know.
That's okay. I need my vitamin D and my girl time, so therapy accomplished for the day.
And coffee, a little chocolate. I want to make sure you guys check out Amy's social media links, which we will have on the website. We'll also promote her social media links on ours as well. Share. If you like our podcast, if you like our show, if you like our TikToks, please make sure you share on our social media channels.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
And www.fromdaystoyears.com.
Yeah. I probably should have spoken over you, but
No, you're fine. We're in unison, babe.
I know, but we're having
in
your-
stereo.
The sound is very difficult today, so that's why.
But we're at a pink hotel. And
I
I want
know, and it's beautiful, and please come out and enjoy it. I mean, it's in downtown Port Richey, which is a cute little downtown area if you haven't been. We come here a lot.
And this is Hacienda Hotel, so we want to thank them again also for allowing us to set up. And
Yes.
they really rolled out the Southern hospitality for us.
They
and
really
we
did.
Really want to say thank you.
Yes.
Until next time, y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.